All right, let's talk about how the Seattle housing market has performed over Q1 this year. So, boots on the ground, I'm seeing that we had a pretty competitive market as we kicked off February. Single family homes we're seeing 10 to 15 offers, and more buyers were really hitting the market. The rates hitting that mid to high fives was the lowest we'd seen in 3 years. So, it was a huge incentive. And I think people had kind of just gotten done with waiting for rates to get any lower. However, there was a bit of a shift as we moved into March. There was a little more caution as the war started because the interest rates have climbed back into the mid sixes. And I can't help but note in Seattle, but the ever-changing AI landscape is really impacting many, many folks across the greater Seattle area. March did end with about 1.6 months of inventory for residential, and that includes single-family homes and townhomes with a median home price of $944,000, which is down 6% year over year. And as we look at the condo market, that is telling just a bit of a different story. We almost have 4 months of inventory there. So that means it's really more in that buyer's market category. And $602,000 is what the median price is there, down 4%. Now, having said that, as I look at the data in Q1 overall, the data starts to show us just a little bit of a different story. There are certain pockets of Seattle that are performing very well, such as Madison Park and Capitol Hill. They're up 11% year over year. And neighborhoods such as Beacon Hill is also just quietly one of the best performing areas. It's up 6%, and what's interesting is it's selling 20 days faster. So the average days on market is 20 days less than we saw last year. Lastly, North Seattle is up 21% in median home price. So definitely pockets of Seattle that have done very, very well in 2026. Now, unfortunately, with that, the less shy Mount Baker and Seward Park, some more of the south area, has unfortunately seen a 20% median reduction. But it's interesting because they are absorbing more inventory faster. If any of this data stood out to you, if you have questions about the market, please reach out.